So, keto, how was it? How am I? All that stuff. So just a little refresher. I signed up for medical research to do with mental health, and I did a keto diet for 6 weeks. And I believe I did it on hard mode, which was very restrictive. 20 grams of carbohydrate or less a day, like nothing more than that. Well, technically a couple of days, but it was more of thing in social life and stuff around it. It's been proved to work for epilepsy and diabetes, so the study was trying to find, can it work for depression? I got meals provided to me, which I won't lie, if I had to pay for, I would have been very unhappy. Put it this way, it was more of I was eating fuel, not food. At least that's how it felt. And don't even get me started on the broccoli. So it took me about a month, I think, to really adapt to ketosis, which is a bit longer than most people by the sound of it. I didn't get like keto flu per se, but I did have a lot of trouble with exhaustion, my muscles feeling very painful at the worst, and especially in my graft site, like from my knee operation. That was hurting and that was really weird. But I think the biggest physical obstacle was diarrhea. As I said, broccoli. I had to get a coach of all of the York teams, so about 30 to 40 people, to pull over at the services because I was going to shit myself when we were on the way to a work do in Harrogate. I was literally prepared to just go in the grass on the side of the road. It was getting to that point of it's gonna happen whether I wanted it to or not. But yeah, even the smallest amounts of broccoli were giving me copious amounts of diarrhea. We're talking anywhere from 5 to 7 on the Bristol stool chart. If you're not familiar with that, have a Google. But it was to a point where my colleague would greet me going, "So what number are you today?" I also wasn't allowed to lose any weight. So we worked out that I was actually eating around 3,000 calories a day. Yeah, you know, I have had a couple comments of like, "Oh, you look like you've lost weight," and I think it's more that I was like retaining a lot of fluid, especially around here, especially around like the collarbone kind of area. There's a lot less. So I haven't really lost any weight as such. It was important if it dropped to keep it back up. So it would fluctuate around 2 kilos, mostly from diarrhea. But yeah, it would go back up, and like I said, I was eating 3,000 calories, so of course I was going to keep the weight on. Now I've stopped it, I'm allowed to lose weight. There will be like checking in another 6 weeks, but yeah, I can lose weight now, that's fine. And I probably will, because trying to eat or like reintroduce carbohydrates is kind of hard, because I've avoided them for a substantial amount of time. Yeah, 6 weeks is fair enough. I can't eat bread. I had some garlic bread, you know, like 2 pieces of like a baguette garlic bread. Couldn't breathe, had to lay down, my stomach was so bloated, like it felt horrendous. So yeah, it's been a very slow reintroduction. Another point about like the fluid around here, my tonsils are half the size of what they were. I come from a big tonsil family. My sister's had hers out recently because she was having so many issues. But yeah, mine have like shrunk a lot. My teeth aren't sensitive anymore. The tonsils, like the crypts in them, have closed. They're not like inflamed. I don't have joint inflammation anymore. I've got hypermobility syndrome. Yeah, my body isn't in as nearly as much pain as what I was in, and I kind of realised like, wow, yeah, I was in a lot of pain. You know, just getting through the day, standing at work and stuff, I can get through, and it's, you know, I still need to move around and stuff because that is the hypermobility condition, but nowhere near the pain of what I did have. So did it work mentally? Yes. even though I had as many physical setbacks as I did, mentally, it is the best I have felt in a long time. This past year has been pretty difficult for me, and when I got the advert for this study, it was at a point where I was like debating, do I need to up my medication because I don't think it's working? And since then, it's kind of like, well, you know, it's noticed within my family and stuff of probably the issues are more pertaining to neurodivergence than like anxiety and depression. But yeah, I'm now at a point where I am reducing my medication to come off it, because doing this diet has done more for me in 6 weeks than being on drug therapy, basically. So, you know, there's a place for them, but I think for me it's more of active lifestyle changes that are more helpful. So, yeah, in my opinion, it's worked. As in, you know, what the study was setting out to see, can it be used for mental health? Yeah. But obviously there are limitations, as in some people could have conditions where a keto diet isn't suitable. Anything should be talked with your doctor. I had a dietitian supporting me weekly, you know, trying to eat around things, broccoli, and stuff like that. So, you know, I had a lot of medical support going on. Other people won't. So definitely check with a healthcare provider before you want to start doing anything like that. And like I said, actually your body getting used to ketosis physically is pretty challenging, and that can then affect mentally of if you want to do it or not. And I think I am pretty resilient and headstrong of, no, I'm going to do this and get it done, and that has got me through. And a lot of people have said, including the dietitian, I'm really proud of you because you've had a lot of issues and you still stuck to it and done the best that you possibly could have. As I said, now I have finished the study, or at least that block of it. So yeah, it's kind of adjusting back to normal. There's a lot of things that I do not want to go back to, but also can't go back to. Portion sizes, for example. I'm so used to eating so much less in terms of a portion that I can't finish a big plate of, like, I literally have like this much on a plate kind of thing. That is enough for me now. Trying to keep you know, good protein intake. I thought of reducing the amount of dairy I've been eating, because a lot, you know, it's a high fat diet and dairy has a lot of fat, purely for the fact of I was just kind of getting a bit bored of eating cheddar cheese and stuff like that. And then it turns out that I notice if coffee has semi-skimmed milk in versus full fat, I can literally taste the difference. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy how I thought I could reduce the dairy intake, and I can't. I can't. So yeah, eating still dairy, avocados, like really high fat things, but like good fats. I enjoy it actually as well. It definitely taught me a lot with my relationship with food and how much I like emotionally ate and stuff like that, and how now my taste buds have changed. For example, coriander, I always thought it tastes like soap. It doesn't. That was one of the weirder things to find out. Coriander no longer tastes like soap, it tastes like a herb. There's things that I never want to eat again. Broccoli, cauliflower, dry meat, unseasoned food. Nothing was seasoned. And that, I think, was the hardest. The fact that, like, nothing had any flavour in it. I don't like beige food. Another interesting pro, my period. So I usually suffer with heavy periods, very painful, low energy, just rough, really rough. And the last period that I had was so much lighter. There wasn't any cramps, pretty much, like super mild, if anything. I didn't get like a headache beforehand, I didn't get back pain, I didn't get all these horrendous premenstrual symptoms that I get or got. And like, as I'm filming, I'm due on in about a week, and like right now, I know it's coming, but I'm not like angry at things or craving loads of shitty food or anything like that. Like, yeah, I have only chocolate and fat things, but I'm used to eating high fat now. So yeah, that was like a huge difference, because sometimes it was like, it's so painful I can't get out of bed, and getting to work is just, it's a struggle to be working, especially like a physical job that I have with those kind of periods. It's fucking rough. So I'm very optimistic that going forward those are going to be so much better. I might have forgotten to add something. I did plan on writing this down, as in, you know, my thoughts and changes and whatever, but it is what it is. Overall, yes, it has helped me substantially mentally, but I would check with medical people before anyone does this or plans on doing it for those reasons. I know plenty of people do keto to lose weight, and I guess it's interesting to see if I will lose weight now that I don't have to maintain it anymore. But yeah, that has been my experience, and like I said, I've probably forgotten something, but it is what it is. Just thought up a date, y'all.